I was a follower of Roosevelt's foreign policy, which was quarantine the aggressor. And I was always the speaker in 37 and 38. And 39, I was always the student speaker in Royce Hall. There was an organization on campus called the Student Peace Council, I think it was, trying to stop Hitler from being allowed to develop to the point where he could actually start World War II. And we call ourselves, peace advocates, but actually we were war advocates. We wanted to go to war with Germany if necessary, to stop Hitler from taking over Europe. And I applied for a fellowship during my senior year, and a friend of mine in May or something of 1939, I graduated in June of 39. A friend of mine who was a graduate student said to me, "Roy, you're not going to get a fellowship because they think you're a communist." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, because you keep making speeches about stopping fascism. And that's the Communist Party line." I said, "It's the Democratic Party line." He says, "No, it isn't." He says, "Roosevelt does not support aid to Spain. He does not support the Republican government of Spain. He's neutral."
So at this point, you hadn't joined the Communist Party yet?
Mm-hmm. They had asked me to, and I said, "No, you have a thing over there called the dictatorship of the proletariat. Sounds like they mean dictatorship, and it looks like they are a dictatorship." And one of them, who was one of the on-campus communist representatives, said, "Well, it's not, because after all, the Soviet Union was founded in the name of the proletariat. There's only one class in the Soviet Union, the proletariat. And when they pass a law, that law is passed in the name of the proletariat. And that's democratic." I thought, well, that makes sense. I only joined when I was refused a fellowship on the grounds that I was a communist, and went and talked to them. I went and talked to the administration and said, "Why have I been refused a fellowship? I mean, no one has better grades than I have, and isn't that what determines it?" And the professors all liked me. And they had me meet with a representative of the selection committee for fellowships. And he sat me down and got right to the point. He says, "Have you heard that there may be a pact signed between the Nazis and the Soviets?" And I said, "Well, I've heard that rumor, but I've also heard that the Soviets are dealing with England right now to sign a treaty." He says, "Yeah, but if they sign a treaty with England, it commits them to war. If they sign a treaty with Hitler, they can sit back and watch. Which one of those positions do you think Stalin will take?" And I said, "Well, I certainly don't think he will join. He'll sign a deal with Hitler because the Soviet Union is on principle anti-fascist." And he said, "Well," he says, "I don't know about that." He says, they may have a principle or two, but neither one of those principles is anti-fascism. And I think they will sign with the Nazis, and you won't know about it. And when he said that, "you won't know about it," he was pointing a finger at me as a member of the Communist Party, which I was not. And he says, "But he says, you don't believe that's going to happen, do you?" I said, "No, I'm sorry." And I was there to talk about, being given a fellowship, but I couldn't help. I said it as politely as I could. I said, "No, I'm sorry. I don't believe that's possible. I think it's contrary to Soviet principles to sign a deal of any kind with fascism." He says, "I thought you'd say that." And that was the end of the interview, and I never got the fellowship.